Hello, I am Victory and welcome to today's video on journaling. Why should we journal? Good question. And it's something that I struggled with for a while, a long time. I didn't start journaling until about 2 years ago, but pretty much anyone who's anyone keeps a journal. I don't mean a diary for you bros out there who are averse to girly shit. I mean just a record of your thoughts so you can keep track of the shit that you think about way too much or haven't really investigated and given thought to. In getting to know myself, who I am, and how I came to be the way that I am, a lot of those insights and self-awareness and self-knowledge came about because I wasn't just chasing thoughts all day, trying to do a math problem in my head, where I kept having to start over. Right, it was on the paper. Again, keeping with that math problem comparison, it was on the paper so I could work it out a lot better. And one of the things that I really noticed when I first started out in journaling was how much I was thinking about dumb shit. There was someone who broke my heart, and one of my really, really good friends, one of my oldest friends, was like, hey, Stevie Nicks would keep a journal, and then she would go into songwriting in that way. And I was just getting into songwriting. And I've since found out other ways to develop songs that are better for me. But I keep journaling. This is my, since 2000, summer, it was summer of 2018. This is my, I don't even know how many, I don't know what journal I'm on, but I figured out a lot of my shit, a lot of my toxic behaviors. I've been able to work out and have this jubilant, overjoyed feeling because I was like, oh, that's why I am the way I am. Now that I see it, I can notice the feeling when it starts to creep up on me and makes me want to react in unproductive or toxic ways. And so I know for me personally, because everybody's different, that if I hadn't done it this way that works for me, then my toxic behaviors would still be unconsciously low-key running my shit. So with that in mind, one of the biggest things that stopped me personally from starting, apart from what if somebody else reads it, or just egoic BS, was how do I do it, right? When I first started, it would just fill out the page like I'm writing an essay, and that didn't help much. It helped a lot in terms of getting stuff out, but it wasn't until I went back to high school stuff. If you ever heard of Cornell notes, or Cornell style notation, it's a different sort of more organized way of taking notes, but also journaling. So with that in mind, and writing prompts help too, we can just get into a quick how-to of journaling. So look here, you see everything? I got my page, so I'll usually do the date. Today's April 8th, 2020. And I have this deck of writing prompts that I got from Best Self Co. at Best Self Co. on Instagram, and I'm sure this is the Wordsmith deck. Less writer's block, more writing. Yeah. Have you ever feeling challenged about what to write, and it gets easier as you do it more, with anything. But yeah, this is a little how-to card. Journaling helps you clear your mind. Remember moments in your life, tease out ideas, or just outline notes that you need. The key is to do it. Do it. Swoosh, or swoosh, however you do the swoosh. Do it. Filling a blank journal page can be tough. Yeah, okay. So I mixed up the deck And I usually don't need these. These are just to like help me think of other things outside of my usual stream of consciousness. And I'm posting like one of these a day on my IG. So you can check those out there and get yourself started journaling. Or if you don't want to use the writing prompt of the day, just write about other shit like I do also. So this one is, what don't you have enough time to do and why? So with Cornell notes style notation, there's usually like a line up here, the subject, and then a line right here going down the middle-ish. And then on this side, you will write questions and themes and subjects also, like subjects within subjects. And then on this side, you just take the notes. So right here.
On the side is, what don't you and then eventually I don't like using the lines anymore. So I didn't, like the beginning use like a ruler and have very sectioned off, cordoned freaking spaces, so you're more organized. Yeah. But I like using it without lines. I'm super fancy. Time to do. Hi.
What don't you have enough time to do? Why? What don't you have enough time to do? And it's at this time that I like to repeat the question or repeat a question to myself.
Like why?
Like, why do you want to make helpful videos? And I always state it in the second person, like I'm asking myself. And the way I phrase this is, if I put in right here, second person, you can talk about like consciousness, or you know, like light self, all these other cool, catchy names, higher self, divine self, blah 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 blah, all these other fucking, I don't know, just spiritual ego ways of like addressing yourself. But my consciousness is addressing
my ego, my inner child, my toxic self, my wounded self, etc.
Which is why, so yeah, my consciousness, my calm, cool, and collected persona version of me is asking, you know, the part of me that feels offended or better than other people, the part of me quite separately from that, but still kind of related, is addressing my inner child. So
this is when I'm doing like inner parenting work, when I'm parenting like myself through some old wounds, my toxic self, which is kind of related to the ego, but not necessarily, when I'm doing, I don't know, doing some toxic shit. And then my wounded self from like when someone triggers my abandonment or neglect wounds.
There's this part of me that is objective as possible, somewhat distanced, but like emotionally present for me, if that makes sense. Is how, I mean, that's all up like a fucking long ass winded way of saying, why do you want to make helpful videos? Like why, like me addressing me is like a long ass way of stating that, or like how that's helpful. And to get my central nervous system is usually prioritizing what it's afraid of, what it needs to be observant of, survival, reproduction, well-being, things like that. So
when you ask yourself something, when I ask myself something, it might not prioritize the question right away. So it's important to ask yourself, I would say, some people say like 2 to 3 times, I would say like 3 to 5 times. You know, if we're going back to like the prompt, what don't you have enough time to do? Why? What don't you have enough time to do? Why? What don't you have enough time to do? Why?
And then breathe. Let's ask, breathe, and then observe. And then I observe like what thoughts bubble up, where this new momentum of thoughts, train of thoughts is going. Like how has this question redirected my train of thoughts?
And so train of thought or momentum of thoughts, say momentum of thoughts, is if I'm thinking sad thoughts, they're probably going to get sadder. If I'm thinking happier thoughts, they'll affect my attitude, my disposition, my perspective. But there's also going to be...
It helps to highlight resistance. So highlight, be aware of until I'm rushing to thoughts, emotions, actions,
etc.
So this is just something that this is also what journaling helps with, is to observe my train of thoughts. But then also, once I observe them, once I'm aware of what they are, the pattern, I can help to redirect them through simply being aware of them helps, honestly. It's like the majority of the work is just being aware of thoughts when we get lost in them. But also, we can redirect them the same way if you like pull on one of those levers on like a train track, it'll like switch the tracks so it goes in a new direction. So if I'm like sad thoughts, sad thoughts, and then I interrupt those, right? Pattern PDTs. I have a video on this already. Pattern disruption techniques. So if my sad thoughts are in a sad pattern, then I want to disrupt that pattern disruption techniques. I want to disrupt that pattern, DTP, and kind of inject some awareness.
Maybe positivity, self-love, etc. And power pose helps a lot. And this gets into like positions. Trigger. Positions that trigger. Positions that trigger.
Empowerment, curiosity, even depression, right? So like if I'm on my phone, my head is hunched over, my body's hunched over, it's kind of collapsed. It's limiting my breathing, and that position is very similar to the body's natural resting state when it is low self-esteem, when it's depressed, anxious, making itself small, not wanting to take the space. There's Presence by Amy Cuddy. If you guys want to look into that, talks all about it. This is just like a Cliff Notes down and dirty version. So if I'm thinking just garbage, toxic bullshit, I'm feeding myself, I'm consuming that, I want to disrupt that pattern with becoming aware, feeding, choosing, changing that direction into a more positive outlook. That is the practice of self-love, and I can do this using power poses, affirmations.
And then I do this so that it forms a habit. If you identify as an angry person, that just means that you're used to thinking angry thoughts and being very reactive. Really, behind the anger is hurt. If you're a sad or anxious person, if that's how you identify, there's underlying trauma there that needs to be worked through. And journaling helps a lot, just so you can see it, so you can learn how to talk to yourself, learn how to parent yourself, and get into the habit of becoming the best version of you, if you want to put it that way, right? Because let's say right now you identify as a sad, anxious, or angry person, then you are in the habit of identifying with that, thinking those thoughts, and acting on those thoughts and emotions. So it's just a matter of, it's not just, right? It's not easy. It is simple, but actually doing it is very hard. It's like going from, not being a morning person to waking up early all of a sudden, right? It's going to be really hard. Give yourself that, at least. But the sooner you do it, the sooner you get into the habit of it, and the sooner your life changes. Because honestly, a cynical or negative person is blind, subconsciously, to opportunity, to any reason to be happy. Because why? The world around us reflects what we believe. It is like our perspective is a filter. So if we, see someone yelling or screaming, and we have a filter of people are inherently evil or people are bad or people are out for themselves, then we're going to interpret that situation in that way. Somebody must be in a fight. Somebody must be arguing and they're airing out their dirty clothes. And then we, like, that observation takes us on a train of thought versus someone who has a positive outlook or a simply aware outlook, right? They're just simply practicing awareness. That person that might be yelling in joy. They might be, like, celebrating. They might be in a, like, I don't know, just got really good news or something. But because we're used to being negative or interpreting negative intent, we're going to interpret that situation as inherently negative versus just simply positive, like positively, and then shut ourselves off to anything that would negate or correct that outlook, right? If we think they're having a fight, then that's what's happening, and then our mind goes inward, and we keep walking, and we might be blind or deaf to, a second or two later where they're, like, jumping for joy or something, just as an example. People also get angry. Yes, I realize that.
So what don't you have enough time to do? Journal. Is that right? Is that you don't have enough time to journal? You do have enough time. It's the teen. We're under the teen. So you have enough time, right? Instead of, if you Netflix for, I don't know, like 4 to 5 hours a day, maybe Netflix for 3 to 4 hours a day. Maybe 4
and 1/2 hours per day, and then for half an hour, 30 minutes, you journal. Maybe for friggin' 4 hours and 59 minutes, you Netflix, and then for 1 minute, you meditate. How about that? How about just that? How about just that one thing? This right here. This is baby step 1. Baby step 1. Right, so what don't you have enough time to do, and why? And so, I cut off all this shit, all these notes that I was taking on how to take notes, and bring this down here. I might say because Netflix, or because escapism. I want to escape the thoughts that are trying to, like, creep up on me. I want to get away from my anxiety. I want to break anxiety. Don't want to see what's in my head. Okay, well then, like, you said that, now why not? And then you repeat, right? You answer this question, and then you ask again, like, why is that? Why is that? And so, like, there's this part that questions very calmly why you think what you think. And then from there, you keep the line of questioning going, practice reasoning, become more aware and more, it's going to help you. It's going to help a lot with anxiety. Let me tell you that right now, with depression, with anger. Because you're working through your problems and not waiting for someone to work them out for you, like a girlfriend, a boyfriend, like a shrink, like a parent. You start parenting yourself. You start being there, co-regulating with yourself. This is like 1.5 people right here. Instead of me just trying to work out my own shit, this is like me and this other part of me that's observant, that's can see through the clutter of my mind.
So aside from getting to know yourself or your issues or anything like that, what other purposes?
What is that? What other purpose does journaling serve me? Be selfish even in your phrasing.
This is for you. This is you doing something for you. So what other purpose does journaling serve? You can do a daily check-in, right? I like this idea, daily check-in. Just on your mind, right?
I just like, how does my mind feel today? And I can honestly just be like, it feels like, that. And that's my journal entry for the day. I can take the whole fucking page if I want. But in doing this is sending a signal to your subconscious mind of like, hey, this is what you look like to me. And the subconscious mind is like, oh shit, we should probably get more reorganized. And that little level of self-awareness is going to then alter your way of thinking. It's kind of like, if my goal is right here, and I'm over here trying to hit my goal from way back here. Can you see that? And let's say there's a block right here, and so let me see if I can get a Pikachu help for once. All right, here we go. I'm painting Pikachu right here. So this is like a straight line. This is ideally
my path or the trajectory. But way back here, I have a limiting belief about how journaling is dumb. And so it's going to go like that, right? This is this little block right here. Can you see that? Let me draw this bigger. That's me. This is the block. And so just that little bit, like an inch back here, is going to be like feet or meters down here. And so it's going to be off by a lot. Does that make sense? It's honestly why I like painting and sketching, because it's no matter what, how well or how poorly I interpret something that I'm arting, it's going to like relay a message to my subconscious of how I see the world, how I use colors, or, you know, if I want to make like a quick sketch.
Usually the little deer that I sketch. Crimson gin. Even something as simple as like sketching yourself is going to relay to your mind how you are perceiving yourself and the world around you. So it can make necessary adjustments, even if you don't feel those adjustments, and especially if you don't feel those adjustments right away. There are all sorts of ways of communicating with yourself, of hacking your mind, your body to better suit you in your environment within yourself. And a lot of people are just not taking advantage of these like mental exercises or tools or resources because they're still in their programming and their conditioning. Right? A little cheeky. Let me do a little shade. BS10. So really, yeah, you don't have to write out a journal entry for the day. You can just honestly like doodle and be like, that's my fucking bam signature right there. It's not really my signature.
You can make a doodle. I think one of my friends was doing like a sketch journal because he got bored with regular journaling, and he didn't know that was a way to journal. So I'm just like, dude, if that's how you feel like expressing yourself, if that's how you feel, if that's your way of communicating with you, then that's still a journal entry and that still counts. And he was like, the point of me saying that is because he was bummed out that he had like fallen off the horse of being consistent with journaling every day. And when I said that to him, his face just lit up. I was like, yeah, dude, I feel like we're very hard on ourselves unnecessarily a lot of the time. And if you are, then you should write about that and get to the bottom of why that is, so that you can be a little bit more, like a little gentler on yourself. Yeah?
I cover it. So yeah, why? What don't you have enough time to do? Why? Use that as your journal prompt for today. All right? Peace.